Thank you very much. I give a double thumbs up for the Nebraska Republican Party at this convention here today. I tell you what, it's very heartening as I come back and forth from Washington, and I know that there are things good happening in Nebraska. I'm grateful. Obviously, Grand Island is in the 3rd District. There are a few more counties to the 3rd District as well. Just I don't think there's quite yet a Mountain Time Zone caucus yet, right? No. I tell my colleagues that I have an office and a staff in 3 time zones, so that's Scottsbluff, Grand Island, and Washington, just to give a little description of what's going on here. But I don't have to tell you that, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity. I see familiar faces, and I say thank you as my number one message here from me personally, and I also know that you've had a long day, and you've had a lot of other very capable speakers, and I don't want to stand between you and the next U.S. Senator from Nebraska for too long. A couple of weeks ago, we did learn that the President's health care bill has a little bit to do with your taxes, and your taxes have a little bit to do with the President's health care bill. Now, back several months ago, though, we had a hearing in the Ways and Means Committee where we learned that everyone agreed upon the fact that there would be an overpayment of a subsidy contained in Obamacare, and that if we went back to try to take that and get it back to taxpayers the way it should be instead of the overpayment, we were accused of raising taxes. Now, I realize that's some rather interesting math. I don't have to tell you that. But that's what we're up against. And I can tell you that taxes, our tax policy obviously needs some tremendous fixing, and we need a more straightforward tax code. That's how we can turn the economy around. Now, one of those things will be getting rid of that question on your tax return of, do you have health insurance? Our tax code should be for something other than an agenda such as that, and certainly Congress owes the American people far better than what it has delivered in the last several years. Now, I am happy to and very honored to be a part of what I still think is a governing body of the greatest country in the world. And I'm constantly reminded of that the more I travel, perhaps, and hear from other people who come to Washington to see what it's like. And those steps right outside the House chamber that are worn is a constant reminder to me of how many people who have come before any of us here, and hopefully a lot more to come, and that we gather here based on ideas. Now, those of us right of center, when we believe in individualism and our own ideas, and then it comes down to a meeting like this, and I'm glad that we can stand up and say we've had enough of the policies of Barack Obama. Every time I go to vote, I have 2 choices, basically. Yes or no. I suppose I could vote present, but that's generally not... there might be some strategy involved with that, but that's a pretty rare thing. But the fact is, we have to vote yes or no. And come November, we'll have 2 candidates from whom to choose, and we can vote yes to put an end to the Obama agenda and send Mitt Romney to the White House, because, boy, I tell you what, I find out time and time again just the difference between not only the 2 parties, but when you look at the agenda that Barack Obama has been implementing rather successfully, I would say, and that does not mean that the economy is any better off. But when I listen to this back and forth, and granted, I was pretty young when President Reagan took office, but I watched the news a lot with my grandpa, and I don't remember Ronald Reagan blaming everything on Jimmy Carter. And so here we are today, constant. And I talk to agencies when I'm in Washington, and I hear how they blame things on George Bush or even presidents prior to our current one. And so I just want to say thank you here today. I appreciate your help. It's your ideas. And like I said, we are here because of the ideas. I appreciate the opportunity, enjoy being able to engage in the marketplace of ideas by going back and forth to Washington and taking your ideas back to the political process, and then give you an update certainly as we get a few things done in Washington, but not nearly enough. So I just want to take this opportunity now to introduce someone who I don't think needs a detailed introduction, but I can tell you that I'm glad that Deb Fischer didn't check in with anyone in Washington before she decided to run for the United States Senate. And that includes both sides of the aisle. And I'm glad that that Deb can bring a perspective. Now, I might be, my apologies to the 1st and 2nd District, I might be a little partial to the 3rd District, given the difference in the issues, perhaps. But we are one state, and I know that Deb Fischer, a rancher, a ranch wife, and a state legislator, I'm kind of a little partial to state legislators too, but I know that she is very capable to get the job done, and she's probably already found out that the most common request from Nebraskans is to be left alone. I encounter that a lot, and that is, I tell my colleagues, I brag about my constituents because I tell my colleagues that the #1 request from Nebraskans is to be left alone, and perhaps there might be some EPA interest here today, maybe not, but when you look at what the federal government has been doing, not only to the tax code, but in environmental regulations, and so I know that Deb is well in tune with the issues impacting our economy. And as I travel back and forth across Nebraska, obviously the 75 counties of the new 3rd District, it's a lot of territory to cover, but I slip through Lincoln and Omaha from time to time as well, and I know that we have a lot of common interest, and that is to provide a greater opportunity, a brighter future for all that we can. And I tell people of all ages that my #1 priority is to ensure opportunity for the future. Can't really guarantee that outcome. All too often, Washington wants to get involved in ensuring an outcome. We can't do that. That's when we lose sight of individuals and individual potential. But I know that today we've got an individual here that you're getting to know, and already many of you know her very well. But I certainly want to welcome my friend Deb Fischer, our next United States Senator.